Hey, good morning. This is a video about Robinhood and my update on my position and the overall market, what I'm buying, what I just sold, and what I'm doing with my money. Okay, so today on the live chart, I had a high of nearly $500 on the day, and right now it's at 3. I was only down 3,500, now it's 3,650, but I still made gains from the previous week. Previously in the week, I'm up 1,500 on the month, and the one week it was 1,000, or I guess it doesn't show on the chart here, but now we're still up pretty good on the week. Excuse me. The 3 month, the year to date, and the 1 year. Let's see the portfolio and the stocks here. So this is VU, Vanguard S&P 500, and just to show you, this is what I own. Starting new positions in Costco, going to be dollar cost averaging to that. Microsoft and Neo is a long-term hold. I've been holding that for years. It doesn't really do much. Just not going to sell. Just going to hold that. So these are the shares that I recommend, that I recommended to myself, and this seems like the best of the market from my knowledge, and the majority in VOO. In VOO, I have 20 shares. I had 30 this morning, and I trimmed 10. What's crazy is I trimmed 10 right about here. Right about here. Before this drop here. I kind of read this somehow. And so VU market sell. 5 shares at 550.94 cents this morning. Realized profit $60. Then another realized profit $63, $120 locked in from this morning. And then $10 locked in on the couple shares. And then couple shares. I sold a little, I trimmed a little bit at 540, only $11 profit. So there's not much here. But recently I was a little bit more patient. But this aggressive move here on the daily on 1.25%, nearly 1.5%, pretty aggressive from all the bearishness we saw here in the consolidating. Yes, we got a pop, but people are taking profits, But so far, I mean, we're above the 548, but I think that's deceiving. I think the real support here is closer to 542, and that tells me because I was looking over here, and I saw the support here, and I saw this break. I saw us break the support right around here, and this is what indicated to me that we are not going to hold this trend for too long. Looking at the 1 month and the 1 week. On the 1 week, you can see a similar pattern here as we have right here. Look at this from here to here. This is basically the lowest part of the base, and we had support above that, and then we broke the support. We broke this. Instead of bouncing off of this, we didn't hold, and then we did not hold the base at 549.83, and that's why it is pulling back, to a stronger base of support, stronger area of support, closer to 548.77, 549. And on the 1 week, I saw that right here. I think other people saw this too, and that's why they sold. And yeah, basically just a lower low on the support, and it didn't hold, and then it goes to a stronger support, which is 535, and you go on the larger time frame. 535 is a major area support. 535 right there, and then 535 right about here. Previous resistance is support. Previous resistance. We don't know exactly. We don't know if it's going to be 531 or if it's 537, but it was 535. That's why you just I trim at the highs, and I continue to buy as it drops. But everyone has their own techniques and whatnot. So I'm up 2.5% overall. If I kept the $30,000 position, plus 2 point. Ooh, hands are running today. 2.4%, which I'm up. Be up $720, and that's about right. Up about 400. took profits a few $100s here and there, and I was down, about 5,000 a few weeks ago. Yeah, right here. Now I'm down less than 4, so it's looking good. 2% on the week, basically. Um, and yeah, 3 months, 16%. In 1 month, 4% is really, it's pretty good. People, you might want a 4% in one day. I used to be used to this. Oh, well, Tesla was up 4% today, uh, or 3%. It was on its way when I opened the market, but I guess it didn't hold. Um, okay. It's because you have to see here. This is a huge, okay, this support, this area got, had enough buyers, and the algorithm and whatnot, okay, jumped. But the fact that we're still staying under previous resistance, it's a slight lower low. And then this here, support at 406. We're trying to stay above 4. We're probably trying to hold this 408 area here. So maybe I buy like a call for next week with this if I do want to take a risk. I mean, there's some consolidation here. Maybe you're seeing kind of like this, support buy, which is basically here, and then it moves up, basically here, and then it consolidates, basically here, and then it's going to go a little bit lower. So maybe we're going to get that the supports at like, I don't know. I guess this is the dip buy. I'm saying we can, maybe on Tesla because it's so volatile. I think maybe we can go back down, fluctuate another 10% down, maybe. So I would be careful here. It's down 3% from the morning market highs, but 10% down is basically back to here. And I would buy a call down here. You can either sell puts or buy puts to make money on the way down here, or buy a call right here and hope that it holds. And, because maybe we don't revisit this area and this could hold and we could go back to this area here and try to revisit the previous resistance and support right here at around 560 area. And that would be, like 10%, 14% upside. So yeah, about 10% downside, 10, 15% upside and downside. On Tesla. So I'll be careful with that one, but I'm just holding the position, dollar cost averaging as usual. I have a weekly buy set soon on next Monday. These are my recent buys, 377, 384. You can see even though the stock is down, my average, I am up. App's starting to lag. Let me just reset it here. Okay. And so the reasoning for this trim, you guys have to understand the psychology. I was almost thinking about buying a call option right around here, but the overall weakness, I don't like this weakness, so I'm not gonna make any moves yet. I'm gonna be patient, and the trend hasn't changed. So yeah, still got a way to go. 0.80 to 0.6, 0.75. There's a little 0.20, so I don't touch it. And so I had $20,000 today. I suppose I sold 9, I think. Or I sold 10 shares, or 550 times 10. 5,500. So I sold, about 6 grand. Then a bit before that and before that. You guys can just watch my previous videos. I post everything. I post when I'm down, but I haven't been down on this channel yet. That's interesting. Okay, it tells you how bullish we are. You can see my first video 2 months ago. I was down like 7K or something, or 8K. I don't really know. 2 months ago, that's 1, 2. Yeah, 2. About 2 months ago. 7. Yeah, I'm up like 5, 6K on the month. Past 2 months. But pretty good. Very good. And what is that? That's 1.7 to 17. Yeah, it's great. I'm up 15% in the past 2 months. Average of like 7% a month for 2 months in a row. And that's why I'm very careful here because where's that coming from? That's from me swing trading VU, adding to my Tesla, Nvidia, Apple, and just being patient in the market. Even Dogecoin, I was patient enough. Now I'm up 9%. I was down about 25% when SPY was down, and I sold $550 at a small loss of like $5-10, whatever it was. Um, and I could have been up, this 9%. They take about 0.5%, 1%, for fees, but I would have been up, $700, the 500 plus the 150 or the 200, whatever. But I'd be up, 700 plus 8%, up $56 on that swing trade. And that was a tolerable amount that I bought into $1,000. But I was running out of money and I was like, where do I want it most? I want it on VU, but you shouldn't sell when you buy a dip. Your dip buy should be so good that you're just going to be dollar cost averaging if it does go lower. And you need to position yourself properly is the key. This is what it takes time to learn. And the stock you're in, the majority of your money in the stock you're in, even not even the majority, but your main positions, you need to watch them so often that you understand the price action. How much does it typically move? What is a medium move? What is an extreme move for this stock? How does the chart work? Does the chart listen to support and resistance? Does it you have to, does the shapes where, like a head and shoulders, the lower lows, higher highs, does it listen to these, does the algorithm listen or not, or does it not, like Bitcoin sometimes, something a lot more volatile, fluctuates more. So this is why I do S&P 500 VOO. I think it's a bit of a secret that, the real secret's like trading futures, platinum, petrol, those move pretty like consistent, pretty strict as well, like this. But SPY, I think it's great. Or VOO. Okay, so let's watch the day chart. How are we doing? Trying to gather some support here, but it's still in a strong down direction. And support's same thing, probably 548.50. What is that? It's like 0.20, 0.10%, 0.25% from where we are now. But if you bought in the morning, the 0.70, you'd still be up. You're up more than 0.5% if you sold towards the peak like I did. But yeah, we took in a little, from the highs, locked in about 0.5% or so, and on 5,500. $27. Profit is profit. The key is to slowly make money, and the key is to not lose money. Losing money is what happens here. When you lose all this money, you need to realize it's, oh, I'm down money, this and that, I got to make the money back. Okay, yes. But you also need to realize that when you're down 20K, you need to make back 20K to get to even. So you want to make 20K, you need to make 40 basically. So you got to be careful with losing money. And the VOO position, VOO, SPY, I have 11 grand in here, and I trimmed that because I trimmed 6,000 today because I'm like, I had 20,000, or I had 10,000. I basically trimmed 10,000 off the top, or 20,000. I had $30,000 position, trimmed 10K around 544, 545, and then another 10K around the recent area here. So it trimmed around here, the 544 basically, which is correct. It was the base, which I thought was potential resistance, but we got pushed up. I held a decent amount of my position, and I told you guys I'm going to hold still a piece. I'm going to sell some and hold some, and I made the money up here. I sold at the top, and then of near resistance, And then now we don't know where the price action is. Because we don't know where the price action is, I'm still going to keep a position. But even though I trim some, I'm still going to keep position. And so if it goes up, I'll only make money on 11K. So let's say it goes, right now we're at 549. And the high is about 560. So plus 2%. So okay, so if it goes back up 2%, instead of being up 2% on, 20, 30 grand, I'll be up on 10 grand. So 10,000 or 2,000, 11,000, whatever it is, plus 2%, I'm making 200 bucks. You have $1,000 plus 2%, you're making 20 bucks. It's still a gain. And what happens is I'm riding the wave. You're riding the wave, but also you need to be aware of the market. You're understanding the psychology and where things are in the short term, but you're also looking at the long term because you have a lot of evidence of what happened previously. So it broke the 549. You can see here. This is the true dip buy. I was thinking, oh, I'm gonna buy a call for this week, something crazy, and I would have been down money because patience, it didn't hold the base, and most likely it was just going to continue in that direction, and it did. So it did. It's getting closer. It's trying to reconnect with the support here. It's pretty much almost there. Yeah, it's basically there. Oh, I think I bounced. I can touch it for a sec. I don't know, but so it's right there. And does this hold? We don't know. It could go back to here. It could give up another 0.25%, or as you can see, look how choppy it is. It went from a base here 3.5% to 1%, and then down to 4%. So even if you bought here and you held through all of this, you'd be down 1%. But if you're dollar cost averaging, or especially if you do what I do, you bought the dip and then you trimmed at a high, you bought the dip, you trimmed at a high, you bought the dip, you trimmed at a high, hopefully you got out in time, you bought the dip, you trimmed at a high, next resistance, you're listening to the trend, large volume, you're down, so most likely it's not going to keep building if it's down. Maybe it will hold this, but okay. You bought the dip, went even lower, you bought the dip again, now it's back up. It's like, it's not that crazy to think that you can, maybe I'm just good at patterns from a young age. I've always been good at tracking patterns and noticing patterns, although patterns aren't everything. But there's times where, like this, like recently, this recent run, patterns do work. Oh, okay. You can see earlier in the video, the stock price was around here or so, and now this is the true dip buy, 405. You can see here, people are thinking the dip buy is at 408. This is the support right here, resistance, 408 right here, basically. And where is it really? Probably closer to 400. Why? There's a huge move at 400, and it's taking profits and chopping down. And the real dip buy, people probably want it, closer to the 360s, but that's too far away. That's like a 20% drop. So what's going to happen is the support's going to be around, closer to 400 in the market, and it's just going to slowly go wherever it wants. It's going to slowly chop up or slowly chop down, but there's going to be some chop before it gets there. And that's kind of what you're seeing here. Are we going to chop and get back up to the top, or chop and get back to the bottom of the channel? That's all it is. Especially on, this is a very volatile stock, but I still love Tesla. Tesla's one of the best companies in the world, from the Neuralink to AI to autonomous driving to robots to the number one sales of EVs to cars all around the world. He has gigafactories everywhere. His manufacturing is insane with the efficiency and the optimization he is consistent with, and innovation, shrinking and being more optimized over time, unlike any other company. It's Elon's a genius, and he's managing multiple companies at once, SpaceX, whatnot. Although SpaceX you can't buy yet, sadly, it's private. So yeah, positions on Tesla, I would like to be heavier, but I do like it at this level. And NVIDIA, I'd like to be heavier, but I do like, everyone is dying for chips. But the stock is also So as I was saying, the stock was also, it's at a mid-range, but it's also high. So I was saying with Vanguard S&P 500, VU, which is basically SPY. So it's chopping up. It's trying to figure out which direction to go. But you have to be smart enough, in the short, yes, we can do a little bit of short range, support resistance, all this stuff, shapes and everything, price action, volume, feeling out the stock, but patterns and whatnot. But you have to also look at the long term. So when you look at the long term chart, where is it? Are we on the upper half of the chart or the bottom half? It's pretty goddamn bullish in the short term. Yes, the volume is very high on these. They're extreme moves that we're having, but we also had a lot of extreme moves around here. Made a huge run up, a lot of extreme moves, and then it went back to a very low base around here. So there's a very low base, a lot of consolidation around here. About 525, maybe closer to 530, but we haven't gone all the way down to 525 or 530 yet, or 520s. We've only been staying above. We went to 533. I suppose we did hit it once, right around here. It doesn't show up on the map, on the chart, but it was about 533. And then we hit about the 538 right here, 540 to 540, 538 to 540. And this is when I was watching it. And I hit about 533 here. I don't know why it doesn't register even lower on the chart, but it's okay. But on the chart, it's basically sideways, 537, 538. Technically, this is a lower low, but it's okay. It got bought up pretty heavily. You can see on the 3-month, got bought up very fast from last week to this week. If you're up, you made 2% with us if you bought that dip buy. And we are back up near resistance. Will we get rejected at 550 or so? In the morning, we got rejected at 551. Will we go back up there? We don't know. But right now, we know that we got rejected so far. Okay? And we've been rejected up here before. We got rejected up here before. So will it be a lower low? Lower support than previously in the short term, and a lower resistance. Okay, that means we're not trending as high as we were in the previous section of the chart here in the past 3 months. Like we're just looking at these time frames and just looking at the larger time frames on the 1 year and 5 year. Things are still very high, so you need to understand that. And when you look at the 5 year, same thing. I was saying about 525 could be support, most area support, and you can even see that here where there's a massive run up after 525. And also, 500, but it didn't want to give away all the gains. People bought up at 525. They were greedy, and it just kept running. So, it's either 538 support where we just bought right here, the previous dip buy, which I've been telling you guys in the videos that it's a good buy, even though I probably shouldn't be doing that, but I was right again, so that's good. But 538.50 was the dip buy. And right now, as I said before, buy low, sell high. Where is it now? It's roughly high. So I sold some. Am I going to, sold some right here? Am I going to buy it back right here because in the short term it looks like it's a dip buy? Oh, right here. Oh, this is the dip buy. No. Look at a longer term, okay. From the 535 support, there's a large move. So a lot of bullishness. The big money is very bullish. Look at this. You can see the consolidation, the retailers, and then manipulation. Retailers, manipulation. Okay. These guys made a bunch of money, but isn't there a chance they're going to take profit and try to rebuy at the next, predictable kind of thing? It's possible. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it does. 545. 545 would be where we were before. And that's, if you bought at the high, I'm sorry, but of the day, you'd still be, you'd only be down 1% if we go back to 545 for a retest. But for me, I trim some, and I'm happy to buy some more at 545. I'm fine with that. But I have a light position here, compared to everything else. So I have 11,000 here, 10,000, whatever. And then I have double the position in cash. And then on top of that, I have margin, even though I shouldn't use margin, but I have about $20,500. There's $300 right here. It's a pending order. And that's it. I'm patient. I wait and ride the wave correctly, and you'll make money. And this is what I've taught myself and learned through the many years I've been in the market since 2020. Starting out knowing absolutely nothing, waking up at 6 a.m. every day for the past multiple years, and losing money while I'm doing that, and waking up to losing money and trying to make it and this and that and trying to figure it out, and realizations and perspectives. And eventually you kind of figure it out and you kind of just start buying dips. And, this was a flash crash here, but I held through it. I bought through it. And that's why I got a nice large bounce here. And then, I was up 10, I was only down 10K or 9K, less than $10,000, which was amazing to me. And then I was back down 14K. And this is when I was, trying to do some covered calls, just trying to figure it out, doing some faster moves. And then I, got back into safe money, which is, I consider this stuff to be safe money, putting the majority into safe money, and then just kind of read the wave and Tesla and whatnot, trimmed, bought. And that's it. Just from my phone, and you can make back $16,000-$17,000 in a year. Yes, you can make money with money. And then once you guys hit 100 grand, once I hit 100 grand, you have to realize $100,000 is not like $1,000, 100. You can get to 100K. It's very achievable with a 9 to 5. That's what the channel is called, 9 to 5 to Riches with stocks. You can make 100K. You can. You're not making enough money. Do overtime. You're still not making enough money. Lower your expenses. Why are your expenses so high? You know why? Lower them then. It's not rocket science. Money is did you guys learn addition and subtraction in elementary? This is elementary stuff. And $100,000 plus, correct dip buys and whatnot, S&P 500, 15% gain. That's $15,000. For a lot of people, that's half of what they make being at work, working 40 hours a week. They make 30 grand a year after tax. And the 15K is not after tax, I guess, but we're holding it long term, and it's going to compound even longer, even more. So, now you have 115K, and then next year maybe you get a 20% year. Oh, $138,000. Oh, now maybe you get a 10% year this time. Now you're at 150, and then the next year, you get another, you get a 5% year, still at 160, and then, you get another 15% year, then another 20% year, you're doing good. You're already at 200 grand when your original investment of 100K is already doubled within a handful of years, couple years. And, it's only a 10x from there until a mil. And what is 10x? Yes, it's 100%, 10 times, and which is 1,000%. It sounds crazy, but if you're, in this market for the long haul, 10, 15, 20 years, you will definitely see a 10x. You can see it on a simple investment calculator, but I can just show you here on a basic calculator. 20 years is 2,000%, because it's 100%. 10% a year if you're averaging, 10 times 20, 200%. Oh, wait a minute. 200%. But because of compounding and buying the dip, it's a lot different than that. Let me show you here.